Today we are going to see about round-robin scheduling algorithm, which is one of a CPU scheduling algorithm in the subject operating system. Well, to begin with round-robin scheduling, this is specially designed for time-sharing systems. The jobs get the CPU for a fixed amount of time, which is called as quantum time or a time slice. This is similar to first come first serve, that is FCFS algorithm, but with a preemption. That is, the CPU is interrupted at regular interval of time. Hence, it needs a hardware timer. Ready queue is treated as a circular buffer. The process may use less than a full time slice. That is, they terminate and the scheduling takes place. If the process is incomplete at the end of a time slice, then they join again at the end of the ready queue to complete its process. Well, this picture depicts the exact process of round-robin scheduling. When a process 1 completes its job of a CPU, it goes back to the queue at the back. Hence, it joins them at the back. If suppose it completes its job in the CPU, it quits the processor. Hence, it's just like a child in a slide in a park. When the children all get their own task for a slide, they go back and join the queue. This is similar to that kind of thing. So this is the actual background process of round-robin scheduling. When one completes, if it still more has tasks to do, it joins the queue back again or it quits. The dynamics of round-robin. The decision mode is preemptive here. A process is allowed to run until the time slice period called time quantum is reached. Then a clock interrupt occurs and the running process is dispatched. If there are n processes in the ready queue and the time quantum is q, then each process gets 1 by n of the CPU time in chunks of at most q time units at once. That is, no process waits more than n minus 1 q time units. Let's see performance of round robin. This totally depends on the time quantum, or it can be called as time slice. What are the two extreme cases? Well, the very large the time quantum is, it becomes FCFS. If the time quantum is very small, say 1 millisecond, then this becomes process sharing. If it is of process sharing, the process gets a feel that each one owns a processor with speed 1 by n of the single processor. The next important thing we have to see in round robin is context switching, which is to be considered as a very most important thing. If the quantum is very small, context switch are very frequent. CPU will spend a lot of time on switching. If the context switch time is 10% of the quantum, 10% of CPU time is spent on switches. Well, the turnaround time also depends on the time quantum. Increase in the quantum time, then it means less frequent execution of switching, hence lesser turnaround time. Average turnaround time does not always improve with increase in quantum time. It can only be improved if most processes can finish their jobs in one quantum. Let's take for example with 3 processes of 10 millisecond each and time slice equals 1 millisecond, average turnaround time becomes 29 millisecond, which is excluding the switching time. Suppose if we increase the time slice to 10, then the average turnaround time becomes 20 millisecond. Let's take an example. Let's take 4 processes P1, P2, P3 and P4 and given the burst time as 53, 17, 68 and 24 respectively. First, let us assume in this problem all the process arrives at time 0, hence the arrival time is same 0 second. P1 gets the first chance, it executes for 20 as the time quantum is 20. At the 20th second we get P2, whereas P2 has the burst time only 17, hence at 37 it gets excludes. Then comes P3, which executes for 20 and leaves the system and goes back to the queue. At 57, P4 enters and it completes its 20 burst time, whereas still it has 4 remaining burst time. Hence, it goes back to the queue. Again comes P1, as it has to complete even more. It gets its 20 milliseconds. As P2 has completed, the next in queue is P3, hence it gets executed. For 4 burst time, P4 gets executed, that is from 117 to 121. Next in queue is P1, hence it completes its remaining time. Next comes P3. Now in the queue, only P3 is available. P1, P2 and P4 has completed its job. Hence, P3 is the only one remaining. Hence, it again takes its 20. Well, let's calculate the average waiting time. First, let us calculate individual waiting time. P1, as it leaves at 20 and again enters at 77, it waits in the waiting queue for 57 seconds. Next, it goes at 97 and gets in back at 121, hence 24. Thus, P1 waits for the total amount of 81 millisecond. Similarly, P2 for 20, P3 for 94 and P4 for 97. I guess you understand this concept. Hence, the total, summing up, we get the total 292, average is 73. To calculate the total turnaround time, we are going to use a formula, waiting time plus burst time. Hence, P1 134, P2 37, P3 162, P4 121. Hence, the total turnaround time is 454 and average is 113.5. Well, let us see the summary of all the features of round robin. All process get equal share of the CPU, which is a very good thing for a real-time system. Typically, RR gives longer turnaround time than shortest job first SJF, but better response time. Hence, this is especially good for time-shared system. Short time slices gives better response time. Simple, low overhead works for interactive system. If the quantum is too small, too much time wasted in context switching. If too large, it reduces to FCFS. The typical value is found around 10 to 100 millisecond. Well, there is a thumb rule. Choose the quantum so that large majority, that is 80 to 90% of the job, finish CPU burst in one quantum. Well, thank you.